What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Afro Taku live stream. We got some new artwork today. I am Mr. Good Guy, aka MGG, and I'm joined here by my co-host.
What's going on? It's Jugga.
And we're here to talk about anime, manga, and everything else. As usual, we kick it off with some chapter reviews. Starting off with My Hero Academia chapter 290. I don't remember what the title of this was. It was kind of boring to me, anyways. But
What was this? Like Those Tragic Tales is the title.
Gotcha. Okay. So, do you want to kick off the overview? Oh, and by the way, as usual, spoiler alert. If you don't want to get spoiled for My Hero Academia, put us on mute for like the next 10, 15 minutes or until you see the screen change, or just come back in 10, 15 minutes. But, give us the view. So just put us on mute.
Facts.
But yeah, go ahead. So you kick off the overview. What happened?
So, I mean, this is actually pretty quick and easy, to be honest. We get to find out the backstory of Hawks, which I'm not sure about everyone else reading this series, but it was completely out of nowhere for me. But in any case, we got a backstory. Right?
I didn't know.
Exactly. And like considering, especially what we found out, it was like, wow, the literal definition of basic to kind of like a shonen start story in a way, in a sense of like, okay, so it pretty much happened that people could have easily theorized in the sense that he was taken as a child by the government to become a hero soldier. Like that's pretty much it. I mean, he had a slightly tragic backstory with his dad pretty much being trash, and then his mom just trying to survive, I guess you could say. But he was an unwanted kid that actually felt his purpose was to be a hero. All fantastic. Again, completely pointless in my opinion, but whatever. What got exciting for me was actually the low-key boss work that Best Genius put in. Okay, like if you, bro, like for real though, like it was so other boss. This kid rolls up to three buddies with the hostage, and homie takes him out still in his own vehicle. Like, bro, this man does not get enough credit. Make him the number one hero. Like, right. For real, though. Fuck. But anyway, so they put mad respect on my homie Best Genius's name, and then they pretty much go on to say that, yeah, his mom, like, sold him out at the end, which what we saw, whatever. And then the last big claim was that it looks like Hawks is going to be a key to making Endeavor the true number one, in the sense that he's going to end up getting his rep back and put some positive light on him. I mean, it's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, like this tie that they had to. Well, first of all, shout out to you, Mr. Edie, for saying what's up. Appreciate you hopping on the stream. But yeah, in general, like I was just like, what? Like I was like, they're really going deep with this like Endeavor and Hawks friendship thing. Right. Like they've been alluding to it. Well, I don't know if it's alluding to it or just straight up saying it, but like the whole book thing, like it just seemed like Hawks really, had some weird connection to Endeavor, even when they did their first little mission against like the Super Nomu together. Mm-hmm. It was just like, oh, okay. And I guess this provided that context of pretty like, much. Hey, but I also was kind of funny because they still shitted on Endeavor in it, because it was like, yeah, you got the Endeavor toy because you were broke. Like it was like all my toys were too expensive, so we got you this broke nigga Endeavor doll, and he ended up being your protector. But so basically, I just got from this chapter that like Hawks was always low key a super fanboy of Endeavor, right? And like it just got confirmed in the story. I don't care about him getting Endeavor's reputation back unless it means like both of them are gonna come back stronger in some way. If it's just character development, and I know I'm the nigga that loves character development over fights, but in this case I really feel like I've had enough character development of both of them. Like I need them to get back to the hands, or develop.
Right, it's gotta help with the power up for me too. It's more just like it's complete unnecessary character development. Like you don't just drop character development in like an action shonen anime or manga without some kind of power up too. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be some kind of connectivity there. Because if they're just showing us this kind of character development to say, okay, they're still putting in the amount of work that they should have always been putting in as soon as when they were introduced, then it's like, how does that help us? Right. I mean, as like the actual audience, like what does that truly do for us? So it's just like it would have been better to find out a backstory of another top 10. You know what I mean? Get like Samurai Buddy. Get my homie Laundry Hero Wash backstory. That I would be about. Like low key, are you kidding me? Like he was just in a laundromat one day, just like, man, I don't even know what I could do with my powers of like soap manipulation or something. And he ends up like saving. I don't even know. Like he just ends up saving everybody in the laundromat. Like to me, that would be mad decent. Like, I don't know, but I mean, this is just like, okay, we've seen Hawks go all out. Homie's broken. I mean, we pretty much expected him to maybe make a very slight comeback so we can still see his face, to still do a little something. Okay, sure. But not enough where we need a whole chapter dedicated to this. So, I mean, maybe. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just comment. Silent Blaze said, "No point in this chapter other than Best Genius showing he's been a beast," which is true. That was pretty much it. That's all we got / needed from this chapter.
That's very true.
But yeah, I don't have anything else to add to this. I gotta say, like,
there's nothing else here.
Yeah, I care very little about Hawks' backstory. Like, are we surprised that a person who was a villain was beating on his kids? No, I'm not. Like, all the like stuff that happened, I was just like, yes, this is kind of what I expect your life story to be. But I was actually even more disappointed because it was like, I get that his mom like sold him or whatever, but I actually thought it was just gonna be better. Like, I don't know, more like groomed, I guess, or just more like the whole, because remember, Dobby tried to like play that knowing that Hawks's father was like a criminal was somehow going to be like a totally horrible, like life-ending thing. But I was like, if you looked at the backstory, it's like he basically spent no time being a criminal. If anything, if anybody heard about this backstory, they would more than likely feel sorry for him than they would go like, damn, it sucks that he's a you know what I'm saying? Like, they wouldn't feel like he was a traitor or anything because he didn't even do any criminal shit with his dad. Right. He was like, I hate that nigga just like y'all do. So at the end of the day, I was just kind of like, what value were they trying to give me here with Hawks? And that was like the thing. It was like, maybe he's just doing some of this stuff too late because I feel like I've lost investment in him already to like do this now. Like, maybe that was a better thing to do when I was invested in what Hawks was and what he's going to do, but it just, I don't know, it's falling flat for me.
Exactly. Again, I mean, it all low-key ties into, like, the lack of a power-up or the lack of what we currently see of Hawks really putting in work in the future. If anything, I mean, it's just, like, the actual typical order of things, you know? Like, backstory, fight scene. Backstory, power-up, fight scene. Like, that's just, like, the kind of standard. And for him to always, like, to pretty much go all in and homie get burnt, like, literally broken down, blah, blah, blah. Right. If there's no true comeback or no fight or no power-up or anything as far as to, like, the action field, it's more like, so are we now watching a slice of life anime? Like,
right, exactly. Like, I'm like, you're the number 2 hero. Like, get this out of here, bro. Like,
so I don't know. It was just out of place.
Yeah, bro. I feel better. Like, for me, for anybody who's interested in this, like, no disrespect to y'all, go ahead and enjoy your Endeavor Hawks character development. But honestly, I will ask you or anybody else who's semi-interested in this, write the author and tell him to just make this a spinoff so I can choose not to read that. Like, I just don't like this being added to, like, the main thing. It's like, bro, if you want to explore this Hawks Endeavor relationship, you already have Vigilantes, which is pretty successful on its own, bro. Just do that with them. Like, that way I don't have to worry about it taken from the main story. Niggas, if I'm interested in what Endeavor and Hawks got going on in their bromance or love triangle, whatever we want to call that, I can just read that manga for that. But I think it's odd, bro.
Yep. Especially with everything else going on. I mean, it's like, bro, what? Like, it's so much we could have talked about.
Right. I'm like, bro, they're in the middle. Like, the prison, like, niggas just broke out of jail. And they about to come through. You have literally no powers. And Endeavor has no powers because he's being a fuckboy right now. So, at the end of the day, it's like, what? Like, why are we trying to do this right now? Like, is he gonna like come back and stop the prison break? Is that what's gonna be the thing? Because if he's able to pull that off, I'm gonna be even more mad because I'm gonna be like, bro, you should have beat Tomura then. Like, none of this needed to happen. If you could stop a prison break of like heroes y'all been locked up, like heroes that cause y'all a lot of trouble, if you can more or less single-handedly handle that, why did you lose to Tomura and his gang of 4 like novice villains with some interesting powers? But like, anyways, I'm off that. The comments. Silent Blade said they will use how Endeavor figured out the code Hawks figured out in parentheses the code Hawks gave him to show he led the charge. Yeah. BS. Yes, I agree. And then Isaiah Eddie said they are trying to make Hawks a basic character, which is facts.
That's sad, but
I don't know how they take such an interesting storyline and just like rob it of all value. Like Hawks was like, when he came in, I was very interested in like what he was going to do and what he was going to be able to put out. Even when him and Endeavor fought that Nomu, I was still having hopes that he would actually put in work. But it's like, bro, you've made him like a totally uninteresting character. I don't know how they pulled that off.
Right. I don't. It's man. Like now that you mentioned it, that's a big fact.
Yeah.
I mean, like before they actually highlighted his background, if anything, they could have made like this whole chapter into maybe like a panel and more highlighted as far as to how the government trained him. Right. That could have been interesting, and that could have branched out into a lot of different opportunities available for the storyline later down the line. So, I mean, if anything, that's one, a missed opportunity, or two, they're still going to hit it, which is cool, but at the same time, they're just wasting time then. Yeah. So, I mean, no matter how you look at it, it's like, bro, come on.
Exactly. And I'm just like, you better show me what the government did to you, bro, because so far you haven't really shown me much, like, as far as what you've been able to put out. But anyway, Silent Blaze said something that made me laugh, which was, I think this is a setup for Endeavor going out in a blaze of shame.
Hey,
bro, I want it, bro. I agree with that. I mean, yeah, like I said, are you ready to rate it?
Yeah, we're done.
I'm very close to giving this chapter a Bleach.
Bro, I'm there. Like, I think I'm there, dude. I feel like, I mean, no. I gotta put respect on my guy, Best Genius, but they saved it.
Yeah, Best that's Genius why I said. I think Best Genius is keeping me from giving this a Bleach as hard as possible. Yeah. But it's definitely like at least a flat trash chapter. Like this chapter could have been skipped. Like the author could have just taken a break from writing this chapter and just started with whatever he was gonna write in the next chapter. It was totally a waste of a read. Like the only thing I thought was interesting, like you said, was Best Genius. I was surprised that nigga had a Batmobile. He might have shown his car before, but I never seen it before. So I was just like, was he trying to say this nigga kind of Batman? And I was like, in a way, I guess maybe he is, because the car really didn't make any sense with his power to me. So that's why I was just like, oh, okay.
That's why it was dope to me.
Yeah, I was expecting him to say something like, yeah, this whole thing's made out of denim. You feel me? Like something crazy like that. But he was just like, yeah, no, this is just a dope car that I use my money to buy. And I was like, all right, Best Genius, do you, my nigga? Like,
that was man.
Yeah, but it's a trash for me, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, ditto. We don't even got to talk about nothing else. Like, literally. Yep.
R.I.P. my hero, bro. What's up with y'all, man? Come on, we need, get back to the real shits.
Come on, man.
Anyways, let's enlighten our moods with something a little bit better than My Hero Academia. Black Clover.
All right.
So Black
Clover, man.
Chapter 280. Once again, spoiler alert: if you don't read Black Clover, even though R.I.P. the anime is apparently coming to a close. Who
Yo,
knew?
that's crazy.
You probably
Yeah.
should transition now before it's too late.
You might as
but
well. I
yeah,
mean,
but if you're trying to avoid spoilers, just pause for the next few minutes. If you're not, rock with us. So yeah, Black Clover 280, more or less. The overview here was just like, yo, I mean, it's getting real. Like
turn
these two
up.
powerful ass demons got let out. They're
Yo,
letting out more demons. And I think they're attacking more than just the Spade Kingdom right now. They landed in like the Clover
yo,
Kingdom.
big
Um,
buddy.
yeah, did they talk about how they got old girl in this chapter or the last chapter, the Heart
Wait,
Keeper
what you
chick?
mean?
Because Morris said he stole like her intelligence. Was that the last chapter or this
Oh yeah, no, that
new
was
one?
I think that was like the
Chapter
last or
before
second
this one?
last. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so I'll leave that alone. But yeah, demons are basically attacking at different spots. It looked like Mary Leona is ready to go for a second round with this
Round
demon
two.
she punched the shit out of, which I fuck
Mm-hmm.
with. And then what else happened? Oh, Jack and them got their shit shut down. Got flipped. He thought he was
True.
gonna win. Got flipped on that one, bro. So everybody, like the tables have officially turned.
Pretty much.
And we're really just trying to see what is going to come out of this. But it looks like Asta's being, mentally summoned. It looks like the author is moving into the second phase of this fight, which might be the Magna power up, because I'm still betting on
Uh,
that. Asta coming through on some dope shit. Noel coming through on some dope shit. Basically,
that's
everybody who
true.
was still in training coming back out. And as
Right.
usual, even though started with this amazing ass power up, I can't help but expect there to be one more because he's Even
That's
though
facts.
this seems
Right,
like
that's
this was
facts.
what he was training for, this suit really seems like it. Like I was just like, yeah, okay, I can see that this justifies your training, but because it's Juno, I know there's one more there. I don't know what the hell it's gonna be, but something's coming.
No, big facts. It's the same thing what they happened with the devil, bro. Like Homie had 2, 3 power ups in the span of like what was that, like 5 chapters? Look back at it. Like it happened. So no, I'm waiting for that second power up too. I still think Homie's gonna get help just based on how they're like shaping all the battles right now.
Yeah.
But he's still getting at least one more power up. No, I'm ready for it.
Me too. And then I think like just to go through the comments. So Silent Blaze was shouting out that we moved on to Black Clover, and then Ant-Man just caught up to the manga. So shout out to you for doing that. Now we can all talk about it. But so yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm just like looking through the chapter to make sure I didn't miss anything major. I'm excited for Merleon to drop this nigga a second time. I think she's not gonna need no help. I honestly think she's not gonna need, and that's like just to put more respect on Mary Leona's name. That's just the author putting even more respect on her name, because if she basically goes into phase 2 and then just drops that thing again, it's basically him saying like, yeah, she doesn't need like that backup savior. She's her own backup savior in that moment. Like, and that would be crazy to me because first of all, like I've been saying, they need to go ahead and lock her in on her own team. Like Mary Leona needs her own squad officially. Like she needs to get the hell up out the Crimson Line. I get his family, whatever, but she's basically shown that they need to make like feline fire or whatever they want to call it. They need to make another fire squad just for Mary Leona. So
Bro,
I'll put
easily.
it
Or
there.
just F around and make a Wizard King, you know? I mean, Julie is practically not doing nothing anyway, so
Right.
I'm still like, hey, I'm always about putting her on the ballot if necessary. So,
Yeah.
but this woman's just monstrous. Like she looked at him like, oh, thank you, Jesus, Ratsu. I mean, like it's like, bro, what?
For real.
It's like, god damn. Just
No.
how are you such a boss?
Exactly. And then Silent Blaze says she need her own SEAL Team 6, and that's facts. Like low key,
No.
they should create like an assault squad. They don't even got to be a big captain, a big team, but similar to how Kenpachi had this shit. It's just like
Right?
niggas that only fit this context can join this squad. That's it. I only take 5 niggas. That's it. And
Yeah,
then
like,
we
it's that.
only look for new niggas if one of those 5 die. If you don't die, it's just us. We just rocking with us until it's over. But yeah, the other part was them touching 100%. So I don't know if we got real glimpse of what this actually means outside of just they're stronger, and it seems like there's more of a fusion potentially with the demon magic and their own magic. and I really only say that just looking at Zeno, like it looked like he has this dark cloak. They all look kind of similar to what's going on with Noct when he does
Mm,
his like fusion with demons. So they get
right.
some type of dark shrouded cloak, and then they're getting these other like finesses. Like Zeno's,
Mhm.
I'm assuming is coming from his bone magic. I don't really get what like the theme is there with Dante's. And then hers, the last chick's is blood and curses. So I'm sure that's pretty hard to draw in terms of like to give us a like visual representation of what the fusion of those two things look like. So I'm assuming if we saw this in color, I'm guessing her outfit is red. Like all those
Yeah.
lighter dark tones are
I think
probably
they.
red.
I'm not watching the anime, but I do think they've. Trying to remember. I know they've at least shown her. I don't think they've shown any devil combo yet, but if
Okay.
anything, it's maybe like in a couple episodes, so we can get that confirmed soon.
Gotcha. And then these two other OP demons, like I don't know where they stand in terms of the hierarchy, but they said they're of the highest order. So I mean, I'm assuming they're up there with Lucifero and the other guys.
See, that's where it was actually confusing to me. I actually forgot to check out because based on how they were first describing it, isn't it technically the lower that's like the stronger in the sense of like did they mean highest as far as like strongest or literal highest as far as them digging down into like the demon world? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So
definitely took.
I honestly don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
I interpret it as
I'm
they're
not,
up there, but like the way they're drawn and look to me, it makes it. They're not drawn like uniquely enough for me to say that they're like the absolute strongest. Like my mind would tell me that like Lucifero and like the other demons that are fused with those guys right now are actually stronger than these two because they just
that
look
makes
so basic to me.
right.
But I'm not sure. My thing is that these two demons are probably going to end up being a leverage point for like the future power system of Black Clover in my mind. Like the same
Mm,
thing with what Leone is doing to this big ass demon guy because I think previously in the story a demon like that would have taken like the entire Clover Kingdom captain group or whatever to like
mm,
combat. I feel like they may not have needed every single person, but I think like what Leone taking it on by herself is showing that like the scale starting to change a little bit, and I feel
mm,
like these two might be those two that become the baseline to the next set of things. Like once
uh,
they move and
yep.
we see them fight and eventually defeat them, I feel like in the next arc of things they'll do callbacks to these demons
That makes,
potentially and go, hey, remember them? They feel like maybe like 5 times as strong as them, or like
no,
they're probably like fighting 100 of them or some shit like that
right.
to
Like
power
the
scale.
freeze of the cell, the boo, the kind of like
Yeah,
the kind of tier of power in the series. No, I feel you.
right.
This is gonna be the next foundation.
But
That makes
because they
sense.
haven't said anything, I have to assume, based off of just my shonen history logic, that they are not on the same tier as Lucifero and them. They may be like really high powered lackeys. Like I'm assuming these ones that I have in the thumbnail here, like the demons that they just kind of let out randomly. Some of
Mm,
them may be tricky, some of them may not, but more or less they're not like if we put the demon world as like a Clover Kingdom hierarchy, to me they're probably not any different than like various mages in a captain's group, right?
that
Like there
makes
might be
sense.
some that's a little bit stronger, some that's a little bit lower, but I'm not expecting any of these to be any like difficult for a captain. Those two
Right,
though, I'm expecting them to be like, all right, this is a real fight that may take one or multiple captains to like defeat these two, and they're
right.
probably gonna have to go like all out.
Exactly. I mean, especially with F and Jack pretty much getting like slapped around like a child right now. So let's go put it out
Just
there.
had to put some
But
disrespect on his name.
I mean, he literally was. I mean, if we really think about timeline for a second, he was on the wall already, practically broken.
Yeah.
Homie took him from the wall just to slap him a little bit more, and that's where we're currently at. So I mean, what's really going to happen? I mean, I don't know. I mean, based on, again, as far as all the fights go, I feel like they are going to somehow give Jack a partial win over Dante, which to me is still a little considering homie just went 100%. But
Right.
I'm gonna sit back and wait right now because it's pretty much in that kind of transitional period where Jack might actually pull off another power up too. But I'm still iffy. Like I'm still a little like if you were like cranking it with us for like a few weeks back, I'm still on that Dorothy v Jack right now. So I'm gonna stay quiet and just watch right now. So
and like for me, yeah, I don't. It is kind of confusing with all the demons they're letting out. The thing that that big ass demon they summon at the end. I don't know if the author is trying to set up that Asta is going to like use his new power up to easily defeat this big ass demon.
I think so. F around. Based on what one they showed with Marileona, dropping Big Buddy as far as that kind of representation in the sense of the disrespect to Big Buddy, even though it should be. But if you just kind of think about it like the series for a little bit, it's like her dropping him. Granted, he was likely about to bring heavy smoke. The fact that it was still easy kind of set a precedent. You know what I mean?
Right.
And considering that another one of them just got dropped in the Clover Kingdom, and everyone who's in the Clover Kingdom probably right now, Asta and maybe like two other buddies, that's going to be significant. And based on how they're shaping it up, Asta's probably going to pull a Marileona and do the same thing. I'm kind of like seeing like that kind of mirrored action sequence too. So I think that like with this guy, he's just going to show up, like do something OP or whatever, and then kind of drop him and be like, crap, I gotta go, and then shoot on over to the rest of the kids to try and save people.
Right. Yeah. No, I do agree that it's gonna happen. I just it just is like dang, because I don't know how this thing it compares to what Marileona is going against. So to me, Asta easily one shot in this shit. They're gonna have to give me some explanation as to like how he's doing it. Because I'm assuming it's going to be because of the new ability. So if the new ability just happens to be like, his anti-magic, where it's just like, hey, this just happens to work really well against demons, it'll just, soften the blow for me. But if it's like, Asta in Asta-ness took him on, and beat him.
Oh, no, there's got to be, no. I feel like there's got to be some kind of intro to his new abilities with this.
Right.
I don't see them getting away with that. If he straight up like just insta bodies them, I mean, even Marileona had to drop like a new move for us to be like, yo, that's what's up. And that new move is what is the drops them. That's fine, I mean, Marileona, it's cool. But if Asta did the same thing and not even drop a new attack name with it too, no,
I would be a little shocked. So yeah,
no.
I mean, I'm definitely hyped to see what's gonna happen in the next chapter. I hope Noct doesn't die. But it was cool to see some like emotions coming from him. To me, it's just like, from both sides, I've just gotten a very like light touch on the possibilities with demon magic. But the thing is, it just seems like they set up such a big world with it. It's hard for me to really, I still don't feel like, I mean, we've gone through theories and stuff. I still don't feel like I have a firm grasp of how their power system works. And at this point, it's like, from what I'm seeing, it almost showcased that it really could be its own tier of power within the world. Meaning, like, as complex as magic gets, where now they're adding the runes and you can do all this stuff and everyone has various types of magical attributes, I'm starting to see that this will be the same type of thing here, because Noct using his power is just very different from the way I've seen these three. And even though they have different methods of how they've obtained their host or whatever, like Noct did this whole contract thing, I think they inhabited their bodies, right?
Yeah.
So,
right. Wait. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't remember exactly, but it seemed like their contract thing is a little different. But I don't know if it really pertains so much to how their powers are really showing up in the world. Like,
right. It's like they're low key kind of moving away from the all magic truly just originates from like your book in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. And even with like. Because to me, in the beginning of this, I was thinking that there would be some differences based off how the demon was summoned. Like, and I think the differences are like this 100% thing that they're dealing with versus like what Noct's able to deal with his contracts, and then what Asta's able to deal with versus his sword. But I thought it would get more in depth, but it seems like because Noct was able to train Asta so easily, even though their summoning methods might have been a little different to begin with, or like the source of their demon power is different. I think the underlying power concept's still kind of the same. The difference may come in there, like, oh, if you're a body host, you're only able to utilize a certain percentage of the demon's power, but the concepts that Noct introduced about how to use that demon power and what it looks like will probably be the same no matter how you summon the demon, if that makes sense.
Think so. It's gonna need some more explanation.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean that he started getting Jujutsu Kaisen with it for me, where he's like, just throwing me down a rabbit hole of like, hey, I'll explain them later, and just throwing concepts at me. And I'm like, bro, I mean, pause and explain this shit because this is the demon arc. Like, I need to see this. You know what I'm saying? I need to at least get a standard for what demons are in this world. And then,
I mean, it really does make sense, especially if you think about these demons in relation to the World Devil back in the day, because even the World Devil, to do his OP-ish, he had a book.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But these kids are just like effing around, just like throwing around magic like it's no big deal practically. So, I mean, it's slowly, I mean, as you were saying, so like the whole magic power structure concept is just overall adapting, probably to the point where people are just going to be able to shoot magic just by doing X, Y, or Z. You know what I mean? So it's coming. I mean, as far as like making like the books outdated, or if they're going to somehow become like a power up or system to that, I mean, it's still unknown. But based on what we're seeing right now, it's like they're almost it's almost like the writers writing themselves in a hole, in the sense of like, what was the point? Well, I mean, not maybe what was the point, but it's like you're not really evolving on what you built. You're more slowly trying to replace it. Yeah. So it could be, I don't know. It depends on how Buddy goes with it, but it's I don't know. It's I mean, you know, as far as like thinking about it like that, it's as far as like the actual magic we're seeing, you know, it's still decent. Like, I still got no problem with the actual nothing, but it's becoming just more convoluted.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I just need answers. That's where I'm at with this point. Is like, this was a decent chapter. Definitely interested to. It definitely got me set up to figure out what's next. But at a certain point, I'm gonna need some answers. that's basically it. But yeah, are you ready to rate this one, or were there any other points you want to talk about?
No, not really. I will say, just for the emotional response, that I am a little sad all this is happening, for the simple fact that I hope they still continue to put respect on Charlotte's name, because I still was like high key as far as like how I felt about her really stepping up to put in work. Yeah. So what I'm really hoping is that she ends up like teaming up with Noelle, and both of them just like straight gang on her and just like take her out. But I hope they actually do that. Like, please do not. Please don't put any disrespect on Charlotte right now, because right now she's doing great. I'm loving the uprise, you know. So I just hope that stays that way.
Yeah, I mean, on that same token, I kind of feel you on that, but mine's just a little bit different. Like, I am disappointed, but it's more because I kind of wish that, you know, we played out the Captain's redemption arc a little bit longer. I guess you can't even really call it a redemption arc, but yeah, it kind of is, because Asta and the squad kind of destroyed like all the captains when they got possessed by elves. So it's like, you know, I wanted to see Dorothy go in a little bit. I actually wanted to see what Real has pulled out, but maybe that's what he's gonna do before Noelle shows out, is like, you know, show how he's upgraded more, because I think he was training too. So we might get a taste of that one more time before, like, you know, the big guys show up. Because even with this whole Asta situation, it's gotten worse, but it's the way they've set it up is not like Asta can make it there instantaneously. So it seems like all the captains in the Spade Kingdom right now are still going to have to fight for maybe a few more chapters before they actually get that second wave help. Because the way that...
One thing I will just quickly interject in is that they could pull, I'm not sure how they would communicate properly, but Buddy Knott still has a shadow magic in the sense of if Asta can somehow tell him that he's ready, Knott can maybe just instantly teleport him there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
I
I can see that happening in the sense of like, fuck, I need Buddy right now. And he just like pops up and then Asta just start doing work. I can see that.
So that helps for the Asta side, but then the question becomes the Noelle side. How's she going to get there?
Unless they're like super low key already there, like quote unquote. But they would have to explain that.
Yeah, they'd have to be on their way right now, and then it would just show up after that. So yeah, I'm just curious. I wonder if they're just gonna let it play out a little bit more, because it does seem like he's moving into the second phase of this fight. Like he gave a good amount of the captains like their time to shine, but it seems like he's moving to like, okay, here's the next phase where they get saved by like the fan favorites or the main characters. But I don't know. We'll see what happens next with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, if I had to rate this chapter, I think I'd give it like it's a setup chapter, so I can't say there's a whole bunch here. I would say it's probably like a solid, decent plus. I don't want to necessarily give it a decent as hell, because I wouldn't say there was any particular moment that I was like super crazy about. But I think I'm definitely interested in the next chapter after reading this. It was definitely a good read. It was nice to see that Merleona, even though she dropped that big ass demon, really wasn't done. So that made me like interested. I did like the costumes of them at 100%. Besides Dante's, but Dante's been slowly disappointing me as time has gone on. Anyways, right. So I'm really interested to see how Zeno, if he is gonna flip anything.
Mm-hmm.
Player 5 said he thinks all the demons are coming out.
Ooh.
That's about to be crazy.
Yeah.
That's about to be crazy. That's really happening. Wow.
I mean, someone's gonna pull out like a kind of mass destruction move then. Because I mean, they don't got the kind of hands as far as like quantity of magic soldiers to really box these kids. So someone's gonna really kind of have, I guess, the opportunity to show out if that ends up being true. So I guess we'll see. But no, I'm pretty much ditto with you as far as like the decent plus goes. It's pretty much like all whatchamacallit. It's all like shaping up to look like the next few chapters should be decent as well. But since it's just a question mark / they didn't really highlight any crazy action or legit scenes in this one chapter, it does feel a little tough to try to give it anything more than that. And then especially with the fact that they didn't really give us too much real information. Mine is just now we know that Dante and like the Dark Triad are at 100%, in the sense that logically they shouldn't get any more stronger unless they argue that the demons are just gonna literally just F their bodies and do like now the demons are here, you know what I mean? Right. Instead of the true possession, that might be like that last final boss power up. I could low-key see that. But in any case, we're pretty much going to be seeing like that next foundation and GG that you were talking about as far as power scale goes for the next arc. So it is going to be good as far as getting some info from that. But yeah, just decent plus.
Yeah, and then Player 5 also said gonna be, he said maybe they're only 50% finished with the arc. Gonna be almost all the captains half elves, and Noelle and Asta, they ready for all them demons. Feel like demons just wanna F the couch, That's what Tim said. That's funny. But yeah, no, I mean, what Player 5 said did have me thinking, like, because I'm like, yeah, if they all do come through, they do have like a solid backup team, like with the elves coming as backup, and Noelle. And then Asta, like, we do get some redemption fights with the elves at least, where, like, a liar or a Patry will pull up and, be like, hey, I was training during this time, so here's, like, my new move, or some other, or Beto, you know what I'm saying? Those other people that kind of stay alive post the last arc, we probably will get some type of redemption fights with them to kind of, like, show out a little bit. I'm interested to see how that turns out, if they can make the elves interesting for me again. Outside of Veto, I kind of have not been that interested in the elves as power-wise or whatever, especially since What's-His-Face is dead. The Diamond King ain't doing shit, bro. The Diamond Kingdom's so petty they just gonna sit there and fight their own battles, bro. Okay, I got you. All right, he said Mars and Ladros. Okay, yeah, them two might come up.
By themselves.
But the rest of the Diamond Kingdom is staying the fuck at home, bro. They is not pulling up for nothing.
I mean, like half of them like got wiped out. Like did the Dark Triad practically destroy them before like any of this even started? Right. So, I mean, low key, they don't got a lot of hands left. Period. So we'll see, I guess. But
well, that's all we can do. All right. Yeah, only two niggas. Let's see. Do we have time to do one more chapter review, or should we jump to something else? I don't really want to do One Piece. I thought it was pretty lame, but I don't also want to do Jujutsu Kaisen. I'll see what time we have at the end, and might jump back to it. So let's move on to our new section of stuff. Animes or shows that we can't recommend. As we did last week, we picked an anime and we basically told you why we couldn't recommend it. So last week we were talking about Fairy Tail, what was great about it, why we ended up not being able to recommend it. And this week I picked Sword Art Online for a bunch of reasons. One, because there are people that still watch it. And I guess later seasons may have gotten better than the first season. But I watched the first season and chose to stop there. And I think Jugga did the same. So let's talk about why we can't recommend Sword Art Online. And I'll say, as a caveat, I'm just talking about season 1. So if magically it became the littest show ever after season 1, that's on y'all because I'm not watching it. But yeah, so... I'll let you start, Jugga. So why can't you recommend Sword Art Online?
Trying to think. The best way I could put it is that season 1 gave me too much of a taste of different genres of anime when I was coming into it thinking it was going to be a boss action shonen anime. Mm-hmm. See, when it started, like the whole premise even was like hype. You know what I mean? Right. It was like the MC already had like pre-knowledge of how to be OP. He gets OP, and he's gonna start doing OP-ish. Like that was pretty much like the show as far as like my idea, right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't realize that one, if you really look back at it, a lot of the action in season 1. There wasn't really much of it in the first place. If you really think about all the big fights and all the true legit action scenes, there wasn't that many. There was a couple that you can touch on, and even those couple only had like a couple of seconds, if I'm remembering right, that really like was actually impactful. So that's one, because that's like pretty much why I was coming into it. And then 2, how much of like the slice of life romance kind of came into the anime. Yeah. And it's just like, wow, y'all really took like a few episodes just dedicating to the relationship between Kirito and Asuna. And I just personally wasn't ready for it. Like if I read the manga, I guess maybe that could have helped soften the blow, but I was ready for like back-to-back OP action-ish. And the best relatable show I could say to that would be like Overlord. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he came in OP, and every episode he's pretty much doing low-key OP-ish the entire time in a way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was 2. And then 3, I think Player 5 first actually had me highlight, well, not me highlighted, but he highlighted it and I started to notice it too. But how OP Asuna was, but then she lost her OPness the more she dedicated to a relationship with Kirito. And once he mentioned that, I was like, wow, he's not wrong though. And I was like, wow, they really did take away her actual bossness because she's in a relationship. Like Kirito immediately just became like the dominant character, like of her. And it was just like, but before that even happened, she was standing alone almost as equal. And it was like that gap became clear like instantly as soon as they got together. And ever since he mentioned it, I can't no longer not see it. So that even turned me off to try to get back into the show, like as another point. So I was like, wow, they really did Homegirl Asuna that dirty. Okay, that's cool. So I was just like, overall, it just didn't hit what I was like wanting for in the anime in the first place. And then two, it was just kind of like a steady, slow decline of disappointment. So I just personally can't recommend it with that kind of start. So again, like MGG said, if it really did transform into more of a boss action anime, action scenes are on point, then I mean, okay. But at the moment, I just can't do it.
Right. But yeah, to read the comments where I say my comments, Player 5 said, don't come from Kirito like this. LMAO. All y'all niggas was cosplaying him in 2012 to 2015. I ain't forgot. I didn't cosplay him.
I'm not sure if they're talking about that.
If Sword Art Online came out in 2021, these kids would goat it before we found out it was ass. Which is 100% true. But we can't even lie, though. Back in our day when this came out, niggas was goating it. Just like in our community circles, niggas was going. It's just we didn't have the power Demon Slayer has of like being able to touch people outside of the anime circle. But the anime circle was definitely hyping SAO as like one of these much watched series. He also says she became a housewife in a damn MMORPG. Commenting on
that's true though. That's true though.
Absolutely,
it's big facts. It was like wow,
right?
One of the strongest characters in like the MMO game just like gave it up.
She was playing the Sims, bro. She was playing the Sims.
It was just a sad face, man.
I feel y'all on season 1 of SAO. Silent Blade says it's more slice of life at times. 100% agree with that. The newer season was more shonen. Kirito does have Jesus power. And then he died and just comes back. Big facts on Asuna. Still the same in the new season. That fucking...
Oh, no. Yeah. I can't get past that, dude. Like, it's just so sad.
I pretty much echo all of the stuff that you said on why I don't like SAO. I think to add to that, now being more experienced in the isekai genre, it actually sucks how flat Kirito falls as a character, in my opinion. Because in a lot of isekai worlds, it's the main character's like humor or like general character like that they bring to that new world that makes them interesting. And Kirito was just a blank slate in this world, like of like, hey, I do these things, but like I didn't get much more from him than that, really. And then it was like it became like this like slice of life, I agree at times, but also this villain of the week shit in episodes where we would, do those time skips and it would be like he ran into another group, that group ends up getting killed, and then it had me thinking for a second like that was the theme of like, oh, he's just going to realize he has to be on its own. But then it just switched to like, no, I have this happy life now and like nobody dies when we go on missions. And it just, it like Silent Blade said, that first season feels like they tried to fuse isekai with slice of life with romance, but they tried to frame it as a shonen, which was a bad idea. Because it was like presented as like, hey, this might be a shonen. Assessment. We have this strategy piece, we have this goal, this big villain. But the more episodes you watch, the more like people forgot about the whole goal of the shit, right? He like pops up at the end. He pops up at the end and they beat him, and then you're like, oh yeah, that was the goal. But like halfway through the show, you totally forget that nigga exists, and you think that they're just having fun in this fucking world or just doing regular shit in this world. And it's like, no, bro, everyone should technically be fighting to fight this boss nigga and get the fuck out of here. So, to me, that was, from the isekai standpoint, it didn't meet any of the check boxes for me that pulls me into an isekai, which is like a really funny or interesting main character. Like Overlord, that guy is funny and he's like a fucking strategist. So, it's really interesting. With Reincarnated as a Slime, he doesn't have that much depth. But he has his funny moments, and I like his interplay with the other characters in the show. And then what other big isekais are there out there? I don't know. Goblin Slayer doesn't technically count, but Goblin Slayer, that nigga's interesting.
No, that's true. Like 100%.
So those people said in the medieval world joints. Oh, ReZero, he was just interesting because it was just funny to watch this nigga suffer, bro. Like, and that sounds creepy. Man. But it was just like no matter what he said or did, it was like that nigga was always sus. Like if he was playing Among Us, no matter he would never be the imposter, but he would always be the first one kicked out the damn ship because they always thought that nigga was sus. Subaru like couldn't get anything off. He also mentioned Log Horizon, Silent Blaze.
Oh, big facts on Log Horizon. Not on season 3, but we're talking about season 1 and 2. It takes SAO to a more serious level, where in the sense of like that new world was life, and it low key touched on like how like an actual person would mentally process that, as far as like it touched on like the kind of psychological attributes that it would really play on, that I think SAO was attempting to do, but Log Horizon succeeded and SAO did not.
Yeah.
So no, big facts on Log Horizon. Yeah.
So the power system matters to me. This is player 5. In an Isekai 2, these niggas do what they want, and when Kid Jesus decides, and then the villain in the glasses. But yeah, so that's how I felt about it. I felt like it just fell flat in a lot of the Isekai traits, a lot of the I don't watch Slice of Life, and that might also be why I hated this season so much. So Slice of Life stuff didn't add any more value to me. The romance part, while I don't mind it, I don't necessarily look for it. And I just felt like it was weird, and then got weirder to me once the whole thing with his stepsister got introduced. Like, that shit just was like, made me extremely uncomfortable. Like, once he got out, and then it was like, oh, hey, I was like, I'm good. And then Anime just mentioned Misfit of the Demon King Academy falls in. Yeah, but that dude, Misfit, that dude
we're talking about almost Holy Gold, though, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about that mother effer, bro. That show in general. Hilarious. Bro, that was a comedy. Like, it was all comedy, bro.
It was a comedy with amazing name.
The kid came out the womb able to fully say his name. I was done. Like, I'm sorry.
And then at the same, he was like, I was born like, when they be asking him, he was like, I was born like 2 days ago. The thing that blew me the most about Misfit of Demon King Academy or whatever. Hey, player 5, bro. I'm reading these comments, man. Stop playing with me. But anyway, he made another Yuri on Ice comment. This won't be a thing. This is not going to be a thing on the live streams. I will stop showing up to these live streams, y'all. Y'all will have to add me somewhere else if you keep bringing up this Yuri on Ice shit. I don't watch that show. I don't plan on watching that show. I will never watch that goddamn show. Anyways, back to what you were saying, though. But no, Misfit, the thing that bothered me the most about Misfit of a Demon King or whatever was just the fact that he definitely proved on a daily basis that he was the strongest nigga they've ever seen. Yet everybody was like, nah, he's not the Demon King. I'm like, y'all are the dumbest group of people I've ever fucking seen.
Like, from the get-go, OP told him to their face, I am the Demon King. Proved it.
They were like, if you're the Demon King, only Demon King will be able to do this spell. Did the spell. Nah, I need some trickery. He did some. It's like, no, bro. He did that for real, bro. That's him. You're looking at him.
God. But no, that show made me laugh every single episode. This mother ever, bro. He looked at a time god like, bro, do you not know my name? Like, he just continued to do just ratchet ish. I couldn't do it. Like, I literally turned that on for last, like effing reading MASH for the manga. Like, it's just for effing kicks and giggles. But if they made SAO, I mean, that'd be a completely different show if SAO tried to touch that kind of realm of comedy anyway. So, but anyway.
But I guess before we kind of already recommended other shows that are better. I still want to talk about that more. But before we move to that part again, what would you give SAO as a series? I know we can't recommend it, but if we were to rate it, does that get the Bleach rating? Does it just get decent trash, like not worth your time? What does it get?
I haven't thought about a rating yet. I'm like, right now, it's like I instinct want to give it a Bleach, and I'm right now trying to go over the F's to see if there's anything that could take it out of it for me. Mm-hmm. and nothing's really doing it. Like I'm trying to even look for like
not even the two swords.
I mean, what? Like I absorb them. I mean, like it's
bro,
it's like you got
a thing with the two swords. I remember that.
Okay. Okay. Wow. This only sarcasm game on point right now. All right, that's good. That's good though. That's good. But yeah, I mean, right now I got to give it Bleach. I can't think of anything else that really takes it off for me. Like nothing. There is literally one scene in the show where homie was getting attacked on all edges and said, "Bro, I can literally stand here all day. You cannot beat me." That was the one big plus. Like that one scene, I was like, you know what, Kirito? You're a real one for doing something like that. I was like, you know what? Okay. So you know what? Just for the pity plus, I'll give you a Bleach plus. There you go. I'll do it. I'll give you a show.
That's what Player 5 games. He said Bleach plus is solid if that's what you're into, but mainly trash. And on that specific comment he made, I don't know the fan that I hear people enjoy the other seasons, so I'm assuming it's different. So I'm just going to say off that first season, I don't know who was geared to. If it was geared to slice of life people, I still don't think you're getting what you want out of it. If it was geared to romance people, I also don't think you're really getting what you want out of it. I feel like the people that season was geared to is people who like seeing men that have no emotions find love with a woman that does and just enjoy with that, like those girls that want to date like an emo guy that just is like, yeah, I'm not present. So if you like that, this will probably be the best show you've ever watched. I don't know how many of y'all exist in the world. For me personally, if I gave it a rating, I think I wouldn't give it all the way Bleach. And this is only because I haven't watched the future seasons, and somehow there's still a fan base. So there's something I'm missing. So off that, I'll put y'all respect, and I won't give it a full Bleach because I feel like I haven't really talked to anyone who's like all the Sword Art Online people, like the people that I talk to that still watch it. They never really directly counter me when I say that the first season was trash, but they are still watching. So I'm like, something changed. So based off that alone, I'm gonna give it just a trash, probably a trash minus, real close to a Bleach. Like it's looking Bleach right in the eyes. Like it's like, yo, Bleach, we're there. But I'll just give it a trash minus for now. Off the clout that maybe the other seasons, maybe it's one of those you get through the first season and everything else is decent. But that's it. That's all I would say for that.
That's actually a fair assessment. Like F around, I wouldn't mind experimenting with that next season as like a squad just to see if we feel any different.
I don't think the squad's gonna go with you on that one.
I mean, probably not. But I mean, it's still worth, like, based on the cloud, as you were saying, it's worth maybe bringing it up.
Right. We'll see. No, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. But yeah, okay. So the last part, which we kind of already got into, would be shows that we would recommend that, like, basically you should watch this instead of that. Instead of Sword Art Online. So we already mentioned Misfit at Demon King Academy, Overlord, Goblin Slayer.
Log Horizon.
Yeah, Log Horizon. That time I got reincarnated as a slime.
True.
I haven't gone super deep into Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls at a Dungeon or whatever the hell it's called. So I
personally would. I checked it out. I would say it's at least better than SAO from what I know. So yeah, 100%.
That's another.
If anything, the action is definitely better in my opinion. So, let's see.
Oh, Darwin's Game. Yeah, if you're looking for, it's technically not in the same, like it's in the isekai genre, but not the same world. If you're attached to like the fantasy aspect of this,
right.
But Darwin's Game definitely is a recommend on the isekai side. I'm trying to think like in terms of like slice of life, I can't give you any recommendations. But I can give you some comedy recommendations that are semi-slice of life, which is, have you heard of Sakamoto? I don't know if this ties into that.
I've heard of that.
I would recommend that if you're looking for like, hey, I just want to see niggas live a life.
Wait, Rising of the Shield Hero.
Yes. Yeah, definitely recommend that over this.
Let's see.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like the big bad being like the the questions being about why were we put here, and the big bad is somehow related to why you're there. Rising of the Shield Hero is that's that storyline, so I would recommend that one.
Hello. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm a comedy one. I'm Cautious Hero. The hero is overpowered but overly cautious. Hilarious.
Any of the long naming sekais probably will take it.
That's around.
Most of them will probably beat out season 1. Like any long naming sekai you find might beat this shit out.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And then what was I going to say? I totally just blanked on it.
I'm trying to think of anything else.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. Like, as far as that, yeah, I mean, it had some good action scenes. There was the slice of life aspect, which I have no recommendations for. The romance aspect, if you're looking for it in terms of, like, an action back end, I don't know if I have any suggestions besides Maggie, which is not any isekai, as far as, like, where they actually touch on romance in the shonen, and it's not done, like, horribly. That would be my only recommendation there, but that I don't even think they get to the romance part in the Maggie anime. That's more in the manga, so
that's true.
There's that. But yeah, I mean I think we got a good list.
We hit some.
Most of the long naming sekais will beat this out, so watch those before that. Notable ones would be like Goblin Slayer, Misfit of the Demon King, Log Horizon,
Reincarnated.
Reincarnated Slime, Overlord for sure. Those will definitely beat this shit out. So, and then after you watch those, then you can go ahead and move on to season 2. Probably, I might as well toss it on there. Season 2 of Sword Art Online is probably better than season 1 of Sword Art Online. So you might want to just start with season fucking 2. And go from there. Feel me?
F-Around is if it's like actually like what season is on it now? I mean, they're like still making new eps.
That's what I'm saying. Like they have a fan base. It's different.
Right. So I mean, you can really like on a real note, you can probably just skip season 1 if you wanted and still be Gucci with following the story. So
right. Player 5 said just watching Yasha instead. That's also another one. Put that out there.
Yeah, for romance, big facts. I mean.
Right. All right, that was one we can't recommend. Next week we'll come up with something else that we all hated and can't recommend. But for our second to last session, we're gonna do great moments in anime history. This great moment, do you want to kick it off? Set the background for this one?
Oh, sure. We're doing this moment. We're going to be doing Yami and Asta versus Lick, some Black Clover anime for a little bit back in the day. To kind of like one note on that we got the notification that the Black Clover anime is going to be ending, quote unquote. Still out there just saying that this is purely done because of how close the anime is with the manga. And I'm hoping they pull almost like a Naruto Shippuden in a sense with Black Clover. After some time passes, they're going to bring it back. At least that's again my theory and my hope, because I mean everything from what I'm hearing even from the anime community, period, I mean the anime's hot, you know what I mean? Like if they bring it back, people will watch it 100%. So I think that they're only stopping it because of how close they are. So also, there's a little spoiler alert just for like these next 10 seconds, but there is going to be a fight with homie Yami and Asta going up against this next big bad. So here's a little moment that can give you a little taste as far as to what's going to be coming.
All right. Without further ado, let's get it cracking. So I think it might be sped up a little bit, but yeah, I'll always on mute because, you know, YouTube and demonetization, even though we're not monetized, but YouTube and taking down videos because you're showing anime content. But yeah, oh shit, I forgot they went in on Fire Nurse for this. I forgot about that. I said Fire Nurse, I mean Fire Nun.
I know what you meant. You good? You straight. But nah, this was when homie, at least like in my head, like Asta got mad, just physical feats power up just from like Ki from Yami. So no, he definitely got some pluses here.
I'm sorry, it's a light boy. Patrick, you was nowhere near Lich's level.
No.
Nope. My God. Dang, got him in the leg. Typical after stuff.
Yeah. But that's no big deal.
That boy
It's
just
all good.
get beat up. Oh.
Boom, boom. Let's go.
This boy came in. He came in with a cigarette. It's like that should let you know he feels like you ain't shit, bro. He came in with the cigarette.
Man, shit.
I wonder how Patrick feels just always being this man's chauffeur to different places. Just piss him up like, hey, bro, I'm trying to go to the bar today. Teleport me there. Like, he literally let Patrick join because he's like, yo, this means I don't have to walk anywhere. Yeah.
Like, it's true. I think they actually like said that, like to some extent, like bro, like you're pretty much a part of the squad to be my ride. Like that's why you here.
You get
Like,
mad as hell when you gotta walk somewhere, bro.
Oh, fuck. I'm trying to remember, was this the actual first fight we saw Yami kind of go all out? In a sense?
Because before this was Veto, right? And I think he...
No, but that's just it. Was the Veto fight before this, or was it after? Because I thought it was after.
I thought it was before.
I could be wrong, but I thought like after, like, because like they were like, you know, they're going in, and then that's when like the three show up, like Veto, Liar, and what's her face.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like their intro, and then after that is when they kind of like popped up to do randomish. Yeah, that's what I thought. I could be wrong, but in that sense, then I'm trying to think like this might actually be like the fight that we first saw y'all really going in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, then you're probably right on that one. He's trying. I mean, Patrick had some work, bro, but he wasn't there.
And he's still smoking.
He's telling y'all. He's telling them, like, look, I don't think y'all the shit, bro. I think I can drop y'all right the fuck now. He not playing.
You know what? I just thought about something, but do y'all low-key be giving Magna big ups just because of this Yami scene of him, like, taking out light swords, like, baseballs? Is that why Magna get the hype, just because of the Yami flow right here?
I don't know. It might be.
Because, I mean, I still personally don't see it. Like, I'm sorry, but I just never been a Magna fanboy, and I'm just continuously trying to understand, and I just never can see it. So, I mean, maybe this could be it. I can see it maybe now. But... I don't know. I mean, y'all looking at Magna like a true baseballer with powers, and I'm seeing like a flaming dumpster. So I'm just trying to like adjust like my vision here. That's all.
Oh my god, flaming dumpster.
I mean that's what I see. You know, I mean, I from Magna. I mean, I just see trash on fire. I don't know how else I can describe it.
So, hey, you gonna eat your words this year. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. I mean, gonna come through and put the city on his back.
Okay,
you might see him hit one of them big demons with a baseball in the face, bro.
I mean, is the demon actually gonna like be phased by it, or is he gonna be like?
Just wait till you find out Magna got some royal blood and he's Arcana stage, bro. His great-great-grandfather was a servant to a royal and he got a little bit of taste of that in his bloodline.
Yeah, okay.
Don't sleep. He gonna turn it around. How the fuck he get here? Yo, somebody check this nigga got Yami green car. You bogus. Bogus for that. Hey, see? Hey, Silent Blaze is with me. He said no Magna slander, bro. You gotta chill on Magna.
Bro, I'm sorry. I can't see it. Like, I mean, again, I'm open-minded enough to be open to Magna actually being decent. I just don't see it.
The hate is real, bro.
I don't know. Like, maybe, you know what, F around? Maybe this is what you feel about Marco. Like, I think maybe that's the correlation. Like, it's just, I mean, I can't exactly put it. I mean, I'm like kind of seeing the L's. I see a little bit of the feats, but the feats are still looking like trash.
Yes,
I mean,
yes, that's exactly how I feel about Marco.
Maybe that's, you know, F around. I think now I finally understand to a sense why you feel about Marco the way you do. It's not complete logic. It's just part instinctual and just part, I don't know, how you is.
Right.
So
He said,
Okay.
Silent Boy said he about to get a new arcane Grand Slam Fireball. That's big
Uh,
facts. That's big facts. They're gonna be like his magic wasn't fire magic; it was baseball magic this whole
Get
time.
the
He's Arcana City in
fuck.
baseball magic. Don't sleep, bros. Because then it makes more sense. The reason why his balls caught fire wasn't because he had fire magic; it's because he was throwing the bitches so fast. He ignited them. The friction from his hand when he threw the ball sparked the flame on the ball. That's why they on fire. It's baseball magic, y'all. You heard it here first. When it gets revealed in the Black Clover chapter, Magnus baseball magic, Arcana stage baseball magic user. Don't sleep. Don't sleep, little boy.
Right. So you literally saying homie about to control multiple attributes with his baseball magic.
They not ready for the baseball magic. That's all I'm saying. They're not ready. I don't think the demon's gonna be able to stop that.
Oh my
God. What I will put some respect on for the Black Clover anime is that they really do a good job of showing the scale of some of these attacks. Like, they really take the time to zoom out and let you see that, this shit he did was big. It wasn't no little blast day. Like, that shit really took up some space in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you be trying, bro, but that fight with Veto was still hard, man. He beat the shit out of his ass. Look at that. He tried. What you gonna do? Does he get new ability from this? Because that's the sword that absorbs magic.
I mean, because he already had it. I thought. I'm trying to remember because I thought Ki was the only thing.
Punch this thing in.
Oh, he didn't even need the swords. Okay, respect. I forgot about
crazy.
that. I forgot about that. Ooh.
Dang, Yami just turned this shit on. He wasn't ready. You wasn't ready, Patrick. This plan was never meant to be a success.
He laughed at him. He literally said, bro, you know I'm a boss. What you surprised for?
I'm telling you, I was smoking this cigarette from the beginning, bro. I didn't think he was shit.
Still, bro, that's the same cigarette, too. Like, what?
I'm telling you. He didn't even finish it. That's how hard. Wow, man. Patrick really tried it, bro. And it's shit like this. So you saw what the fuck just happened. Yami just went against him, and Patrick was like, yeah, you know what? I don't want that smoke. Yet you fought Julius and lost? Like, and you beat Julius? Like, come on, Julius. You was fucking playing with us. It's just more evidence that this nigga was bullshit. No way Julius lost that shit. He threw that match.
Pretty much. Like, literally. That match honestly should have been like practically instantaneous.
Yeah,
like,
I'm convinced. He blasted it. Was that Mirror, homie?
Yeah, bro, that was Gauch, bro.
Yo, Gauch. All right, I'll put a little bit more respect on Gauch now. I've been sleeping on Gauch for sure. That was definitely some like fuck you shit, bro. He pulled up and blasted this nigga straight in his face.
Bust out the mirror, bro.
Gauch ass is sick of you niggas, bro. I'm sick of this shit. I don't know.
No, that was decent.
Oh, you want to talk about anime and visual effects? Sorry.
Oh fuck! I think we
sit here and try to join your YouTube channel, my guy.
Yeah, I think that was like the big highlights already.
Yeah, this is all them just coming together.
And then they're about to. Okay.
So that was it for that great moment in anime history. As you can see, Yami definitely went in, threw some hard punches. Yeah, I mean, I know we have other chapter reviews we could do, but I personally don't feel like doing them. So before we get into fan questions, I'm just gonna make up a topic.
What you want to talk about?
Let's see. I'm gonna go through the social medias and see if we posted anything interesting that's worth talking about. I don't think I tossed in any Gramps tossed in a verse this morning. Static Shock versus NL.
Static versus NL.
I didn't see this. Dang. I don't
There
know.
was some interesting comments that I just personally didn't know about Static Shock because I'm not much into like the actual comic world.
Right.
But based on, I mean, there was I saw some decent arguments on both sides, but I mean, I still gotta lean towards a Nell. Like the only thing that came up for me that I really can understand Static Shock really coming out is if he's truly able to absorb all of Anel and control his actual existence. But my biggest counter that also was mentioned too is simply the amount of and like the actual voltage of electricity that Anel can continuously put out. I mean, like you're literally not. I mean, you're fighting lightning in the sense that it's a continuous like bolt that you're fighting. You know what I mean? And I just can't see Static absorbing all of him and all of his actual output. Not to mention the actual control, because I feel like if that was the case, Static Shock would be like more OP than at least what I've been previously led to believe.
Yeah.
So
Comic
I
books
mean,
though. That's the problem. Well, Silent Blaze is saying yes, he can. Nah, bro. So my thing is like, yeah, like I said, the Static we probably seen on TV is not the pinnacle of Static Shock's power because that's how comics work. So my guess is he probably has a feat of doing some crazy shit with electricity in the background that we just aren't privy to. Because that's usually how it works with all of these fucking heroes. They have like this god strat that you don't know about that is like brought up randomly, and then you're like, oh, I didn't know he could fucking eat black holes. No one told me that was a thing. And then it was like, yeah, bro, he was able to eat black holes. Yeah, WB Kid Static is light work. So yeah, so I'm guessing comics from Silent Blaze's perspective, there's definitely something missing on the feed.
If they made him that OP, then you know what? Fine. I mean, I'll just straight give it to him.
I'm not surprised. I mean, look, it's DC Comics, bro. Look at Flash. Flash is moving. Damn.
That's true.
That was another thing, man. I wish Player Fire was on here because I really wanted to go in on this, but I'll talk about it more in depth in like a later either live stream or a podcast. But I'll bring it up here just to bring it up. I've been watching a lot of DC films because we got HBO Max. So I've just been going through some of the ones I already watched and some ones I haven't. And they get Flash the same way every time. They always trip this nigga. But I go like, he definitely saw that. Like this never, I don't care how like reflexy you are or whatever the fuck. Like the trip never, like he got tripped by like Damian Wayne, who's like Batman's son, who's like the new Robin now in the comics. Like he got tripped by him. He got tripped by like Aquaman's evil brother, who was like, if you've seen an Aquaman movie, it's just that guy that was the main villain in that movie. He like he stripped the Flash dead. Like every time he fought somebody, that nigga tripped him, and I just be like, I know Flash saw that. Like Flash is moving faster. Like from what Player 5 says, he's moving faster than people can think. Like you definitely saw this nigga put his arm out and go like, I'm trying to trip. Like no, the only person I could maybe buy trips in is like Darkseid. That's it. But some of these other motherfuckers, like, I'm like, come on, bro. Flash, you better than this, bro. As fast as you're processing the world, there's no way you're getting tripped by these niggas. They just trying to take you out.
Yo. Like the more I learn about Flash, the more I can't truly comprehend who can really f with him in the first place. I mean, like to put it that simply, that's it. It's like based on the max feats that was actually demonstrated by Flash.
Right.
I don't see an argument that can actually be.
Yeah,
him.
and his rogue gallery is besides the speedsters in his rogue gallery, like. His other villains are like literally the pinnacle of like these shouldn't be anybody who you're Captain Cold, the guy with an ice gun. Okay. Fucking Mr. Boomerang or Captain Boomerang, I think his name is too. Like he just fucking throws boomerangs, right? He's super accurate with boomerangs. Like no, bro. The only ones like Simon just said is other speedsters that I'm like, okay, got it. Reverse Flash, got it. I understand why you're something that is someone to fuck with, and also I also wonder why you haven't taken over the world in a bunch of other ways. Because if you got access to the Speed Force minus Flash fucking with you, like I would just leave Flash alone and fuck some other motherfuckers up. But anyways, he chooses to mess with the Flash because of his storyline / obsession with that nigga. So, but yeah, no, Flash as a hero, I just be like. there's no way they're tripping you. That's the summary that I got. After all these movies I watched, I'd literally be there and I'd be like, there's no way he got tripped. He's like, he's just choosing to not fight at that. He's playing the Julius. Like, you're just like, oh, you got me. But it's like, you saw that. You 100% saw that. Crazy.
No, I don't get it. I mean, like, that's. I mean, you can low key. I mean, like, we're saying this about the Flash in general. But I mean, there's just a lot of just DC heroes since we're on it. As far as just how OP they make them, it's like making. I mean, you just got to go so like the power scale is just so huge that you have to constantly, at least in my head, if I'm seeing like the main DC heroes, you got to go like galactic level every villain, just like period. You know what I mean? To really be able to make like a debatable argument as to why this villain is beating this hero. You know what I mean? I mean, like to throw it back. I mean, to bring it back with Static Shock. If you have control and power over lightning, like continuous, don't matter how strong lightning. I mean, like what kind of hero can really F with you? You know, unless like you're Luffy, you're gonna play the whole I'm rubber or like I literally can't be F with lightning or whatever. But I think I saw the fact that homie even can control charges as far as like basic human. Electricity or heat, like just through like the actual atom bombs or whatever. I think I saw that, and I was like, "What?" I mean, like that concept alone is like, bro. So you telling me if you a human, you pretty much can't F with Static Shock because he could just shut your body down. I'm like, what? Right. So I mean, it's just I don't know. It's like the more I learn about just DC or just comic book heroes in general, I'm just like, bro, y'all just like. You naturally wrote yourself into an almost impossibility for your storyline because of how OP the heroes are that you're making them. Right. But I mean, like everyone runs into that every so often, I guess. But with DC, it's like every effing hero. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just reading through his DC database info right now. I mean, like he has mental resistance, like because of his electromagnetic powers. Like he can basically, counter mostly all forms of hypnosis or mind control with that. So that's crazy.
Okay.
Well, electrokinesis, we know about that. I'm just trying to see something crazy. He got a healing factor magically. High intelligence, techno, allowances, weaknesses. Static is vulnerable to having his power stolen from an outside force, such as Prometheus. Vulnerability to bang babies. What?
Oh, like the bang babies were the other people who got powers.
They got those powers. Yeah, they apparently those are weak to him if they have electric powers. Didn't know about that. I mean, it doesn't talk about anything super crazy major in here, but like I said, I'm sure there's a comic book somewhere. Yeah, it's crazy what they do to DC heroes or villains. They hype them, they big them up. That's all I can say, because they have some crazy feats on a list. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I didn't even get my opinion on that one. I'm guessing based off the DC feats, probably Static wins. But initially, my gut was an L because it's just his mass. He is lightning. So
I mean, the last thing, I mean, like again, based on what we just found out or like what we're talking about, I would still say Static Shock. But the one thing that I wouldn't give Static Shock like 10 out of 10 wins is that Anel still got mad speed because he's lightning. I do want to mention that just because he can actually move at the speed of lightning, that fact should be actually considered. Right. In the sense where as long as he can actually like still hurt Static, in the sense of like he can like his lightning body is not just lightning, but also could have like a human solidity, if that makes sense. Yeah. Where he just like actually like fight him as like a human body. Because if that's true, then he's getting wins off that alone. Right. So
yeah, Silent Blade says 7 out of 10 for I'm assuming for Static.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, NL's power is definitely something not to sleep on. But like I
Fact.
said, I don't know the pinnacle of static as far as feats go, and I because it's comics, I wouldn't be surprised that it's something crazy that I've never heard before. So definitely, I can see 7 out of 10 being static, but just not sleeping on my boy NL too hard. I feel like that
True.
puts enough respect on his name that like he'll definitely get some dubs on him. But yeah, I think with the last 10 or so minutes, we could open up to fan questions.
Mm.
And then, if we don't get any fan questions, we can talk shit until it's time and then end in our closing statements. um, but yeah, I mean, while we're waiting for those to come in, I'm trying to think about what else has been going on. I mean, we talk about new animes all the time, but is there? I know we're a few episodes into a couple of shows. Is there anything that's like turned into like, oh, this is about to get hype? You would recommend?
I will. Oh, I will throw out a quick. I mean, again, super spoiler. You should be caught up if you about this show, but
Right.
that last episode, Attack on Titan. I mean, I know you read the manga, so you saw it
Mm.
coming. I didn't, but
I
like
mean, we do.
that.
Spoiler
I mean,
alert.
this is super spoiler, but yo, like Sasha R.I.P. That,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I've been keeping
I
real
was
quiet about that one. I didn't think it was gonna hit the fan base for a while, but
I was like,
yeah,
whoa, they took her. I mean, like, it
it's
was
real.
it was random and like based on the Attack on Titan just show, it made sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like it was completely uncalled for or nothing. It
Right.
was more like, damn,
That was
like
one
what?
that hurt.
It was just sad. Like it was just
Yeah.
an all around like
No,
cool character.
that in the
You know?
manga that hurt. Like I was really like, if any of the other characters, like, if Armin had gone when I thought he should have died, or even when Erwin died, I was like, it didn't hit as much as hers, because I was just like, dang, bro, she really like, of all the people in the group of like whatever the survey corps,
Yeah.
minus maybe Hanji, but she kind of struck me as like Hanji, but she didn't have any ulterior motives. Like, she really was
Big
just there
facts.
being a family with niggas. Like, there was no
That's true.
secret shit to her
Yeah,
behind the scenes. She was just a humble motherfucker that happened to survive this long, and they just
that's
took
true.
her out. I was just like, God damn, bro. Like, I was just like,
Go on,
come on,
dude.
Sasha.
Especially the last words, bro.
Yeah.
Like homegirl just said, "Me,
Yep.
deuces." Like
Yep.
what? I was like, bro, that
It's
wasn't
like
even.
she just lived a
It wasn't
simple
even
life.
significant, right? Like that's all it was. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it was just that. Like I
Nah,
didn't
they
even have like
wild out
good.
on that one.
It was just all like chill with her. You know what I mean? It was just more like, bro, like I'm about you folks. Like that's it. Like that.
Yeah.
That was just who Sasha was. Like I'm about you folks and eating. Like those
Right.
are the two things that mean something to me, and that
Yeah,
was it.
bro. The
And that fit.
yeah,
Man,
go
that
ahead.
was. Now I'm just gonna say anything like this little punk effing Gabby thinks she big-ish. Like it's just like, bro, what? I
Hey, bro,
mean, like, you
she had
actually
she had to
climbed up. I was, man, I
This
was,
is
I was
what
just
I
big.
this is what
It
I
made
do
no
like
sense.
about Attack on Titan with this season in particular, and I think it's gonna be very interesting as like the fans explore this more, and I think it'll make more sense for them than it did for me in the manga. But this Marleyan Eldian dynamic, and like I think they played this um you've seen it in anime and stuff before, but I think they played this really well. The whole like seeing both sides of the picture and starting to build sympathy for
That's
those,
true.
because I think this is just the early stages of starting to build sympathy from the Eldians that come from the Marleyan side. Like, we got little
Yeah,
seasons like they're fucked up, but you can see that they're also like brainwashed.
yeah,
Like, as we've been exploring this season. I'm sure you guys have seen
mm,
like the scenes of them, basically riding for these niggas who are basically putting them in like a slave box, right?
yeah.
So they're
No,
like, my whole goal is just to be an honorary Marleyan. I just want to, get some privilege and some clout. So it's like starting to get the sympathy for them and why they did what they did, versus like what's going on with, Aaron's side and the LDN side from Paradise Island. Is just very I just think it's interesting, like because of all the hype that was happening from people rewatching this. Like I basically decided to go back and finally try to finish the manga because I like dropped it, but like I picked it back up and tried to finish. But I'm like, yeah, they definitely it came together really well. It's coming together really well because I'm not even finished yet, and I don't think the manga is technically finished from where I'm at, but it's coming together. And
Yeah,
it's that Aaron or Gabby are the same person. Yes, there is a lot of that
yeah,
duality there.
yeah.
Manga wise, they harp on it. I think more like as this whole thing progresses, you see a little bit more with Gabby too, and where she's coming from. And like I don't fault her, like, and that's the whole thing about it is like when you start to look at it from the bigger perspective of things, it's like, do you understand why Reiner and Berhall and Annie did what they did? Do you understand why, Aaron and Mikasa and Armin are doing what they're doing? Like you see both sides of that, and I think that was it's a shout out to the writer for that. Like they definitely put some respect on his name for what he did with that series because it went from just the mystery of Titans to I'll just leave it at just silence because it just gets crazy, bro. That was the tip of the iceberg. Like, did what's his face do his thing yet? Levi, did he pull up
With like to the Beastine?
Yes.
Yeah, right now, Aaron just revealed who he was. All that went down.
Yeah,
Um,
Warhammer
and
Titan or
kind
not?
yeah, like Warhammer Titans. Yo, that scene was crazy.
Yeah,
Holy,
I don't know how they played it in the anime, but
I
like,
mean, they
was
used what's his face's Titan. Fuck, what do they call him? Crawling Titan? No.
The card Titan or the jaw?
No, the other one.
The one with the jaw.
Not Card Titan. The Jaw. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Like, homie uses Jaw Titan's actual ability to just squash Roar Titan. Bro, I was like, yo, that's mad dirty. Like, I wasn't ready for that scene. But it was legit. But anyways, so like all of that went down, and now they're like on the blimp home, pretty much.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah. So the thing with Levi was probably one of the biggest surprise moments for me because I'm surprised that I hear the community talking about it, mumblings, but I was surprised that they weren't as hype as I was for it because when I seen Levi do what he did to the Beast Titan for that second time, I was like, oh, these niggas are not playing, bro. Like I was like, you guys realize that Levi more or less did that, by himself, bro. He just ran up on this motherfucking Beast Titan who, like, before the time skip was the scariest nigga. Like, literally destroying factions. Like, they sacrificed a whole team of niggas. And Levi put the team on his back and said, fuck no, my nigga. Fuck no, Zeke, bro. Like, it was crazy to me.
No, that was big facts.
Yeah.
But I mean, the only reason why that scene, at least now, didn't hit as much is because like the whole big reveal that Beast Titan is now like I guess on their side. So I wasn't. I just
I got you. So it kind of like downplayed it, like.
Right. So it was like, oh, maybe he low key actually let him win at least this time around. Yeah. So I was like, okay, don't get me wrong, like
I'll put it this way.
You guys a monster.
He ain't let that nigga win. I'll put it that way. There's some things coming, but I'll put it this way: he ain't let that nigga win. I'll tell you that much. He was fighting for his life. He was fighting for his life. That's all I will say. But yeah, no, that's dope. Have you been still watching the Spider Isekai joint? Is that still good?
I have. It's kind of. It's not going. It depends on how many eps are in this season. Mm-hmm. If they end up with a 24 ep season, I think it has a chance based on the flow. But it's spending too much time and not enough action with them spending too much time on the characters that isn't the MC. And at first, I thought that was good, and they were going to build it up perfectly. So when everything comes together, it like makes sense. That's going to be legit, but it's not as impactful as what I was hoping. So right now, it's like my hopes were like here. It's got here in the sense like it's still a possibility they can bring it back, but right now it's not looking as hot as I was hoping. So they still have my attention though, based on what's going down. Right. There's still like they caught me with the whole, like progression, evolution evolution in the sense like the MC is getting stronger and getting like transformations in different forms.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just it's one of those mother effers who are just always about the power ups and trying to understand and see what's going to happen next. They got me on that front. You know what I mean? They definitely doing good there. Yeah. So I'm gonna stick with it. Hopefully, in a couple laps, it really gets like brought back to my expectations. But it's a little right now, so it's more questionable right now.
Okay. Yeah, I finally finished up Talentless Nana, so be on the lookout for that. Watch video when we finally recorded. But I was a little mad on the ending for me.
Yeah, I understand on the ending.
Yeah. I mean, it's clear that they're probably setting up a season 2 of it, but at the same time, I was kind of like, all right. I guess you're like, you know what I'm saying? It like was moving in a direction, but I felt like I didn't get that payoff of like, did he catch her? Did he not catch her? It was more just like we're friends, and probably when I don't remember if they hinted that he did figure it out or didn't, but either way, when he does, I feel like it's just gonna be I'll forgive you because we gotta fight this bigger threat, kind of thing.
So it's becoming a more like I felt like how they had it at the end as far as like her view is changing like that. I was starting to feel that a little bit earlier, but I was still with it. Right. But it's like how they made it that they made. I think they took away her edge. I guess I'll say. To her character that really like helped you draw in and like brought that interest to her in the first place. Not to mention the fact of like Buddy, who got introduced later on, like Buddy with the glasses. Yeah. Oh no, he was mad decent. Like I was yo, like that just opened up like a door for like some really good story progression. Exactly. But it still didn't hit at the end as what I was hoping for. So it's like.
And even more so with Glasses on Me, I was low key hoping that was just her. Like when he played her, he like transformed himself as like the I forget her name, but the girl with the blonde hair, and he was like, yeah, I'm actually out here killing you. Right, I thought that was really her, and I was like, if that was really her, that was going to like change the whole show for me. But it was like it was him, so I was a little bit disappointed. But I was also like, he added so much to the story and everything, so I was like, okay, this is fine. But in my head, I was like, damn, bro.
I was the same way. I was like, bro, do I gotta rewatch this?
Right. Like, I was like, yo, is her, fam? Oh my god.
I was ready, dude. Yeah. She pulled up with the blade, like, wait, pause. Like, I was completely off.
All right, but I guess we had closed for this stream. We will talk about Talentless Nana in a full video at some point, but what's your closing statement for this stream? What do you got, Jojo?
Let's see. DC heroes are too OP for their own good.
Oh, that's a good one.
To be real. That's a good one. I can keep it right there. I'll just summarize just like that.
Yeah.
And the last thing is, I understand your viewpoint now with Marco because to me, Magnus stay on track. So those are my last.
Hey, bro. All right. Mine will be, and I'm gonna call back to My Hero Academia. Nobody gives a fuck about what Hawks thinks or his storyline. That's how I feel. I don't give a fuck about Hawks. Skip him.
MVP best genius. Stay on it.
Right? But thanks for joining us for another Afro Taco live stream. We hope to see you next Thursday, same time, same place. Look out for more videos. There'll probably be a podcast episode coming up pretty soon. Maybe tomorrow on the audio platforms. I don't know about the video platforms yet.
Should we shout out the Discord debates? Are we doing that starting this weekend?
Yes, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, so right at the end, I probably should have done this at the beginning, unfortunately. But yes, we are rolling out our Discord debate series. I will probably make a post about it tomorrow as well, because I was supposed to make it today, but I totally forgot. But yeah, so we are rolling out our Discord debate series. What it is if you're already on our Discord, we will probably have a channel or something where we'll do this, but there'll be like 2 30-minute debates off different topics. Our first 2 topics will be best anime magician, and the second topic will be who got hold by the writers more, something like that. Kiba versus Rock Lee. So if you're interested in debating us or debating others, definitely join our Discord. Look out on our social medias. I will post a post probably tomorrow with a link to our Discord, so you can join in on that debate. But yeah, look out for that.
Big facts.
All
All
right.
right. Until next time.